It's all blurry.
Because you're blurry in real life, man. You gotta fix that.
Yeah,
That's
sorry, that's
true.
just what you look like.
I think
That's
we might
fair.
be live. I
Maybe.
just clicked the thing and then it are we
Yes.
actually okay.
Um, hello.
Are we?
Are we? I have it open and I don't see us yet, but maybe I need to refresh it.
I don't see it. I'm on it.
Same.
It's good.
On YouTube, it still says waiting.
It says we're live right now, but I don't know if it
It
can
might
push
not
that.
be like the link that I had tried to craftily prepare in like optimistically setting. You know how like we're like
Oh
actual
no, it's live.
professional live streamers
Is it?
Yeah.
have like a
No.
waiting screen for their
Oh,
upcoming lives and then like everyone's in there and they're oh I'm so excited about the stream and
Yeah.
then it just goes right into the stream like I that's what I was attempting
You're
to
still
do
blurry.
but it
If you,
yeah, I understand.
yeah.
I have it now.
All right, we're live right now.
what's
But for
up
some
what's up
reason,
Max?
Max is blurry. I don't know why.
Did you try like
You look
refocusing
better
your
now.
oh you do
Hey,
yeah
yeah, I
you're
fixed it. I fixed
very
it.
crisp very clean very
Thank
clear.
you.
Very demure, very cutesy.
I appreciate that. Yeah, if you go to the if you click on the Voices of Arta YouTube channel, it's up on there.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
just a different name. We just should delete the last meeting. But anyways, what's up, everyone? Thanks for hanging out with me tonight.
Hello.
This is the
I
Voice
will
of Arta
yeah.
channel.
Oh wait, my
Yeah, okay.
hand's
So
raised.
I will oh okay. I will take care of that other meeting thing in a minute, or should I let you guys say hi first while I
Yeah.
try to take care of that?
How about we do some introductions? This is a bit of a live stream, just a more impromptu kind of planned. But I'm joined by the illustrious Ex Libris Mirror, Miranda, who does Talking Tuesdays, as well as Airplane Facts with Max, or just Max. But
Hello.
we are the Rangers of Trivilien, the trivia team who won the last event, and we kind of wanted to talk about Rings of Power and kind of do a bit of a mid-season review. Though it's 5 episodes, and we only have 3 episodes. We're a little late, but that's okay.
No
A
one
little
has to
So
bit.
know that. Oh, I just
It's a
messed up
it's
my
a
computer.
it's a post mid-season review.
exactly.
It's mid season, double mid season.
It's
Double
just extra. It's
mid-season.
like mid-season plus extra.
Yeah, the
I
bonus
like that.
content just rolled into the original content.
Exactly.
I gotta move my webcam.
It's their fault. They shouldn't have dropped 3 episodes at first, so we wouldn't be doing this. Because technically,
That's
True.
it's only
true.
been like 3 weeks, you know.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So we got another 3 weeks. So we're actually right on time. It's
We are.
Amazon's fault.
Yeah, we're on time.
We're so good at this.
I blame Daddy Bezos.
Well, anyways, so how you guys doing today? How's your week been? How's everything going?
Well, it's my Sunday, so I just finished my weekend, so I start work tomorrow.
Nice, nice,
Yeah,
very
pretty
cool.
exciting stuff.
It's
Super
my
exciting.
Wednesday.
It
Um,
is a Wednesday.
yeah,
It
it
is
is my
properly
Wednesday
Wednesday.
on Wednesday, unfortunately. So I've been working all week, but
Yeah,
I'm happy to chat with you guys. It's been a while
it has.
since we've had a
It's
Rangers chat.
I feel
live
like
on video call. Yes.
yeah, actually, this is just one elaborate plan to start asking you guys trivia again. So, are you ready? No, I'm just
Oh,
No, I have not been practicing.
kidding.
Kaya's in the chat. She said, "What's up, nerds?" And I take offense to that because there's nothing nerdy about Lord of the Rings because it's actually very cool.
I don't know. I'm pretty nerdy. I like build computers and shit. I'm such a nerd.
Hi,
Yeah,
Kaya.
that
I have no defense.
fair.
Anyways, so real talk, we got a lot going on tomorrow or tonight at 3 a.m., depending on where you are in the world. We're going to see episode 6 of The Rings of Power. And it's been kind of a up and down ride, but it's been a lot better than season 1. A lot better. I don't know. We've talked about a little bit of it because we talk in chat occasionally. I've loved the new season. I think they've like hit a lot of high points. I think there have been some low points that I could deal with a lot more than what we saw with the story of the Hithlaglier. But what do you guys think? What are your thoughts the first couple episodes since we got the first 3 dropped?
Um,
I also think it's better. Sorry, Max.
No. You go. You go. Miranda, you go.
Okay, well. I've been enjoying it a lot better than season one. Season one was really slow for me to get into, but I also was really apprehensive to begin with, and this time I'm ready to be more open-minded. So I think I'm taking it all in a different sort of mindset, which has been helping. But even without that, there are some things that they've been doing that I have been so jazzed about. Like, um, the storylines are focusing on more are like things that people like me and people like all of the other Tolkien nerds have wanted to see. Like the focus on Anatar, like everyone wants to see Anatar, like
You know what
I don't know. It's the
bugged
best.
me out the most was how they said Anatar. Because I've always just been like Anatar. When they're like Anatar, they emphasize the N in the show. And I'm like, am I saying this wrong this whole time? I'll never change.
I,
I mean,
yeah,
actually, probably because with that word, I think that the first syllable is what should have the stress.
yeah. I don't know.
Hey,
I don't
nobody's
know.
perfect.
I say most. I feel like I say most words wrong when I read the books and pronounce them.
I say most words wrong in English, so you don't have
Yeah, I
anything
say
to worry
most
about.
words wrong just in
Don't
general.
talk no good.
Yeah, I don't talk good.
Well, anyways, what are your thoughts, Max?
I think that it's like y'all have said, a very vast improvement on season one. I mean, I personally, the more I watched season one, the more I ended up it grew on me over the time, and then I was like, yeah, I'm pretty excited for season two, but somewhat apprehensive about certain lore decisions here and there. But so far, I've really, really, really enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow. Um, episode 5 was a high point, uh, and it got me pretty stoked for the last 3 episodes, I think, personally.
I
Same.
think,
So, oh, go on, Miranda. I'm sorry.
oh, no, it's fine. I was just gonna say that I think we're in for some sadness in the next 3 episodes. It's just gonna get sad.
I think we're in for some sadness for the next 3 seasons, personally.
True.
There's
That's a
not a
good
lot of good
point.
things that's about to happen.
That's a good
It's
point.
all downhill from here.
I mean, they make Weathertop. That's kind of cool. No, I'm on Soul.
How's that work out for them?
Not well. None of it works
Yeah.
out well.
Yeah.
Well,
Many-
Callie, you're here. What are your thoughts about the start of this season and just the season in general?
I think this season has really picked up. I'm very happy with it so far. It's been a lot of fun. To be honest, I am not necessarily here to take up a lot of airspace because I am not a ranger of Trivilien. I am a host, and so we got to keep our professional, roles. I'm joking. We don't have to do that at all.
I mean,
But
like you started the voice of Arda with Willie. Like we wouldn't do a bit here doing trivia in the first place.
yeah, so I mean, I'm really just here to give you this real quick little spiel about the podcast, a little update on what we're doing, and then I am probably going to just take myself fade into the background and let these wonderful people take over because this is what they are doing, a takeover episode. So Voices of Arda is covering Rings of Power season 2 with the Pod Ones podcast. So if you've been tuning in on YouTube, you will see us Thursday nights at 7:30 Eastern and also on Friday nights. The Thursday nights we do a like live reaction of watching the new episode, and then on Friday we have a discussion about an analysis and breakdown of what happened in the episode. So definitely join us for that. You will see Pete there a lot, Belmont, which brings me to the second point of business. Nubeta and I are not going anywhere. We are still totally here, totally still involved with the podcast, but you will see some changes. We have decided to grow the community. So Pete Belmont, who you've been seeing a lot over the season of Rings of Power, is helping us out a lot with hosting and coordinating and some behind the scenes stuff. And we also have the Bard of Arda, who is Tim. He couldn't make it this evening to the stream for hilarious personal reasons, but
He has to fight his own battles.
Kids, but but we are always thinking of him because he is always involved in a Voices of Arda production, like either on the screen, and hopefully we'll get to have him more in front of the camera coming up, and he does a lot of the editing and stuff behind the scenes.
He's the magic man.
He is the magic man, and he was also the man with this magic idea of growing the Voices of Arda community. So he, kind of proposed it, and we ran with it right away. And he was like, well, what if we just made it voices, like more than just the two of you? What if we had, content from other creators who we consider like family, Voices of Arda family, and they would all live on the YouTube with us, and then we would all kind of have this like synergistic thing going on. So that is exactly what we've done. So the YouTube has had a huge overhaul. Thanks a lot to Bard of Arda again for getting us running and setting us up on that. We have content from creators like Airplane Facts with Max, who's right here, Bard of Arda, Tim, who I was just mentioning, Belmont Pete, who's right there. Bladorthan, who needs to change his moniker, I think, because we keep getting censorship strikes
What,
when
really?
I try to put his name in it. But Bladorthan, the bee, does trivia. He also, all of his amazing trivia is on the YouTube. We have content from Miranda up here, of course, who you'll hear more from. We've got Kaya K on board. Of course, Nubetta and myself are still there. We've got Silmarillion as well, some awesome and very passionate lore videos. And always a shout out to our friend podcast, Tolkien with Friends, which is run by Andy, and they're also covering Rings of Power.
And Callie is also a host there. And I think we had a couple episodes with Miranda and Kaya as well on that side. So if you want to go check those out, they were awesome. I was watching them today, actually. I loved it.
Yeah, so we are all coming together and going to coordinate to bring you the best Tolkien Lord of the Rings content that you can find on the internet. So make sure to follow us, follow everyone, and keep in touch.
We're creating a Tolkien megaverse.
The multiverse?
Tolkien multiverse?
Okay. I'm into it.
Cinematic universe? No, we're not.
I mean, that's happening, but we're not making it.
We're not part of it.
We can watch it.
All right, yeah. I'm going to now, and the Rangers of Trivilien.
I like your blanket, Callie. I just wanted to say that real quick.
Yes,
it's the map of Middle Earth.
It is the map. Yes, definitely is. Yeah.
That's why you don't ask Callie geography questions.
Because I'm cheating all the time.
That's a life hack right there. For sure.
I think at one point I had to like take my mat off when we were doing trivia because I like looked down and I had the one of like Middle Earth's maps. So I was like, I can't do this. This is wrong. But anyways. But yeah,
that's a good guy, Pete. That's really, really good of you.
What, not cheating? I know, right? No one would even have caught me, but I just would have eaten at my head. I would have been like, wasn't a real win. But anyway, so the Rings of Power, we've seen a lot of different storylines happening here. We have like 3 different storylines, right? We got Eregion, we have Numenor, and then of course we have wild and crazy kids out in the desert in Rune. So it's been a wild trip. Me personally, I'm going to say something wild right now. I like the Rune story. I don't know why. I love halflings, hobbits. I just am about it. A lot of people hate it.
It's grown on me a lot this season, for sure. Like I've become more invested in it, especially like now that it feels like it's heading somewhere more concrete. I'm into it. I was bummed in episode 5 that we didn't see any of my boy Tommy B. Where's he at?
The goat? Yeah.
Where's my boy? I don't know. But I want to see him. I hope he's in episode 6.
I think
that's what I got. He might be.
I also like the Rune story. I've heard a lot of people who don't like the Rune story, but I think it's fun.
Absolutely.
It depends on what they do.
Yeah, I also think I think of it in a different way than a lot of other people are thinking of it, though. Like my opinions on The Stranger, I think, are different from a lot of other people's opinions on The Stranger. So like where I think it's going might be totally different than how other people view that storyline.
I think they're kind of blending it a little with the Blue Wizard story because they can't use Blue Wizard. It's only terminology used in the Astari chapter of the Unfinished Tales or in letters and what have you from Tolkien,
Right.
as well as in like, you know, if you want to jump into histories, which I avoid because that's a headache and a half when you want to talk about it. But I think they're trying to combine the stories because you had the two different sets of Blue Wizards. You had Alatar and Palando, and then you had Morhatar and Romstamos, their names, which, you know, one of them means like darkness fighter or something, the fighter of the darkness, something
Darkness
like.
Slayer and East
Thank you.
Helper.
Thank you. See, exactly. And so I think they're leaning into
Totally.
that more so than they
I
are.
knew
So if it
that.
is Gandalf, I think it works as long as they still have this idea of like a wizard helping the East and then one working against it.
I do hope it's not Saruman. I don't want Kieran Hines to be Saruman. That would feel silly to me. Like, what's he going to be bad and then good and then bad?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Gandalf's not gonna be questioning this for like another
Yeah.
3,000 years. Like,
Yeah, he
dude,
was
remember
like,
when
hey,
you
remember?
sucked?
Yeah, like, remember when you were like super bad and did really messed up stuff?
And you
Remember
like
And
when
threatened
we
to kill
fought
halflings?
in the
why'd
desert?
you why'd you send moth ladies to kill me? Like, what was up with that? That was like not chill.
They said I was Sauron.
Yeah.
I'm so
It's
glad we
Tom
became friends
Bombadil's
again,
fault.
though.
That's what it was.
Right?
That's why at the end of Fellow or Return of the King, he's like, I gotta go have words with this guy because that was messed up what he
You
did.
sent me the wrong way, man.
Right.
But
Yeah, no,
no, go
none
on.
of
What are
it.
you gonna say?
Oh,
Sorry.
I just wanted to do a quick shout out to my boy Goop Sauron. I loved Goop Sauron at the beginning of
Oh
the
shit.
season. Goop Sauron, I'm shipping him in Galadriel. But
I was
only Goop,
actually shipping
only
him and
Goop.
Celebrimbor when he gets all like real slimy, you know?
Yeah,
But you won't
yeah.
see that maybe till after the 9. We'll see.
That's true.
Symbiote
Well, I don't know.
Sauron.
I hope we see more Goop Sauron. I don't know. Maybe Isildur's gonna cut his ring off at the end of the Battle of the Last Alliance, and he'll turn back into a puddle of goop.
It's so
I would
awkward.
be down for that actually,
More
like, because
goop.
that'll be in who knows what season when that happens, and then you're just like, we've missed him. We missed the goop.
Yeah, I missed Goop Sauron. Yeah, but I just
The
wanted
real
to
MVP.
quick shout out to Goop Sauron. Big fan.
I'm a big fan of Symbiote Sauron, you know.
Yeah.
He a hungry boy. Ate that rat up. It's kind of gross, but you know,
Yeah.
I kind of respected it. I was like, what would I have done if I was like in a cave as a puddle for like 2,000 years?
You'd
I'd
be
eat some
hungry
rats.
too. Yeah, you'd
Yeah.
eat whatever
Yeah.
you could get your goop on, you know?
Did you notice? So one of the gross things I noticed about that scene is when you're looking at the puddle after like it fast forwards, because they show it with like the stalagmites and stalactites growing. That's how they show
Yeah.
time. It's like you could see the worms like almost in it, like crawling around. And like I've seen the episode like 4 times because I've had to do like streaming and stuff for it, like reactions, whatever. And it's gross, dude. It's like the grossest thing I've seen in the whole like series. I'm like, what is this? This
I
is
didn't notice that.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to rewatch the goop scene
it's
for
wormy
sure.
Sauron.
Ew.
Ew,
Yeah.
right? That's what
It's
I said.
why I actually didn't love Goop Sauron when I first saw it until we started joking about it in that chat, and then I was like, okay, this is funny now. But it was really gross when I first watched it.
Well, and when we were talking about it, I saw somebody point out somewhere, and then I brought it to the chat that the I was curious if they came up with the goop idea because of the Balrog in the Fellowship turning into a slime monster.
I I've thought of that too, and I've heard a lot of people say that because
Yeah,
he like
I
when they
didn't come
land
up
in the
with that.
lake at the bottom, like you
Yeah,
know, he gets extinguished and the Balrog becomes like a thing of slime. Could you imagine
yeah.
like Gandalf fighting slime Balrog? I always like picture it in my head as just really messy. And
What's
it's just
Glam? Yeah, what's Glamdring gonna do against slime, dude?
I don't know. You can't
Not
put the fire
much.
to it like Gollum either. He's not burning nobody. But
Yeah,
I mean, it was an interesting opening where I kind of heard the rumors that they were going to open with a flashback. I just didn't expect it to be that, you know, and like to have a whole new actor playing Sauron, being Jack Loudon, I think his name is. Um,
yeah.
and I hadn't known who that was until I saw him in this role. I had to go back and
I
like
don't
watch his
know.
other stuff. So it was kind of cool. I don't know how I feel about middle management Sauron, where it's like, you know, he's the guy in between your boss that you got to deal with on a daily basis. Because the orcs are like, who is this dude right now? And like, why are you talking to us? I kind of love that though. I
I
was
mean,
like very
yeah.
much about that.
In my head canon, it's like you're coming right off the defeat of Morgoth, you know, which, from Sauron's perspective probably sucked. And now he's like, okay, how am I going to wrangle all of these forces to work for me
Mm.
necessarily? Because he wasn't the Dark Lord at that point. He was just
A
wolf
lieutenant.
guy. Lieutenant. Yeah, he's chilling with his wolves. And like obviously he couldn't recruit the Balrogs. They didn't come with him, you
No.
know. They went
Yeah.
off and did their own thing.
Yeah.
I actually
Oh, they
liked
was not on.
I like middle management Sauron because if it is right after Morgoth, like he was gonna go repent to Eonway, so he was being like sniveling and like, oh, I feel bad, and then like chickened out about that. So like he probably was desperate to get those orcs to follow him at that point.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
But
Losing the War of Wrath will give you a hit to your confidence, most likely.
Yeah,
know?
that's super embarrassing.
It
He's already
is.
been embarrassed heavily in the first stage too. It's not like this is
Yeah.
the first time he's got to go through a little embarrassment. He got
lost-
messed up by a dog of Valinor, like
Yeah.
hardcore.
And didn't he lose a rap battle?
He lost.
Yeah.
He didn't lose a rap battle. He won the rap battle.
Oh yeah.
He lost the tower because some lady got pissed off. He messed with her man. Like it was just like she sang the tower down. I'm just gonna say that
she sang it. She sang,
sang
it down.
But yeah, it was not a good age for Sauron.
That's a good retelling of Baron and Luthien. Shout out to Peach Waterloo. They're not paying me for this, but it's better than LaCroix. That's what I'm sipping on.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I didn't know. We're sponsoring brands now with Lord of the Rings, Waterloo.
Nope. I just
But
said I'm
without
not
actually
sponsored.
getting anything out of it.
Nope.
We just love your
enjoying
product.
his drink.
I'm a big fan, so hit me up, Waterloo. If you like fizzy water, it's the fizziest.
Do you like peach the best?
No, it's my least favorite. It's the only one left in my fridge.
Oh,
how sad.
Yeah. Gotta hit up the Costco tomorrow.
I was gonna say they were gonna clip that part of this video and use it as ads, but now that you said that, they have to cut that part out.
Yeah, they're not gonna be able to use it because I'm like, yeah, Waterloo's great minus the peach, but it's whatever. All right,
maybe they'll change.
To Lord of the
Maybe
Rings.
Change.
back to Lord of the Rings. Rings of Power, season 1, episode 1, episode 2, first
season 2, episode 1, 2.
If we're gonna
5.
talk about episodes 1 through 3, then we're gonna talk about Círdan the shipwright because
very handsome.
I love him so much, and he was one of the things I was most excited for this season, and I think he's pretty great, and I have like zero complaints about him as a character. How they're showing it, like spot on. I love him.
I mean, he could have had a sick mustache, but that's just me. I'm not biased or anything.
No,
I have 2 complaints, and one of them I will recant by the end of my complaint about Círdan the shipwright. Is number 1, his beard was not long enough for me personally. I would have liked to see a much longer beard. Number 2, he shaved it off
with a shell.
So I like the shell shaving. So that's why I'm gonna only count that as a half strike. So 1.5 strikes against Círdan there for not a long enough beard, and then also removing it, but removing it in a very Círdan way. Do you think he sharpened the shell?
I think he sharpened the shell. I do.
I think it would take a long time if he hadn't sharpened the shell. I think he would have been there for quite. I mean, he has thousands of years to live though, so maybe that's fine.
That's true. See, TJ in the chat said R.I.P. Círdan's beard. I got someone agrees with me.
I like the beard. I thought he looked really good with it, but it's like he did seem. Maybe this is just in my head. He seemed a little younger when he put the ring on. Like he looked more youthful. Maybe it was like because he looked super gray before that, and then his hair kind of went blonde more. I felt like that was just me.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go look closer.
People tell me I look younger when I take this off my face too, though. I'm just saying. But I guess he shaved after he got the ring, right? So, and I also will say that episodes 1 through 3 kind of clump together as one episode in my head, so I can't really break them apart very well because I watched them all back to back. So
same. Yeah. But he says a lot of interesting stuff, and I like how they personify Círdan really well from the book because he's like he's the leader of the Falathrin. He's that guy. He's been there Nolway since the start. He's that guy. And he's the one who's been like most in contact with people like Olmo. And we're the Olmo crew. We love Tor. We love Olmo. We mess with those people. And so like
Max doesn't love Tor. Don't ask Max about Tor. No. He has thoughts.
No, I just called him one time. I just called him a nepo baby. Okay, but then
Kind of is. I think Turin is more of a nepo baby.
no, I
though.
think we had I think we kind of had this conversation, and
Mhm.
then you went on how Turin's actually more of a nepo baby, and totally kind of changed my mind on it.
Because he's like Lord, he's got the dragon helm.
Yeah,
He's the heir of Dorloman. Then he's got to go to
right,
Doriath, and he's the king's son. But what
right,
an ungrateful brat about everything. Like
right.
just
He kind of is the more of the quintessential nepo baby. Like you could have you ever seen the show Succession?
yes,
Like
yes, very good.
you could just make like a Succession type drama with about Turin, and he's like one of the kids just messing up constantly. I don't know.
Dude,
Not
Tor
necessarily
had it
messing up,
so
but
bad
he's making he just keeps making the wrong decision. Okay, is
all
all
the
I'm
time.
saying. He's just
But
like,
it is my favorite scene when Tord and Turin almost cross paths. And
oh
like,
yeah, in
it's
Unfinished Tales. Yeah,
at the
when
frozen
tours,
falls of Evening or something, I think it
yeah,
is.
and
And
yep,
like best
when
part of like the whole Silmarillion for me. I don't know
when
why.
Tour and Varan were trying to get to Gondolin.
Yeah, they're on their like road trip movie journey.
Yeah, uh-huh.
With the number one elf, Aranwe, he's the only other elf I'll speak highly from or speak highly of besides Beleg.
And then and then yeah, and then they're like, damn, they see him and they're like, that guy's being real dramatic.
Why is he yelling?
Yeah.
like Baranwe's like, Tor, don't call it to that guy. That's a stranger. And it's like that, it's his cousin.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I always laugh at that. But like Círdan, he's been around for a long time. And I do agree with the beard. I do enjoy seeing him a little younger because if you know this about elves age. Weird. Says Tolkien doesn't even say it's immortality. He calls it longevity, extended longevity, or I think something like that. And so like they go through 3 cycles of their lives. And I just read up on this, but apparently their youth is like 3,000 years long. Okay, but they just abbreviate it by 100, but not like actually 100 years per se. In like 50 years, they hit puberty, 50 years, and then 100 years, long years, they hit like full adulthood. So this dude, the elves woke at 1050, it says the year of tree or something like that. This dude is freaking old, like tens of thousands. Like he's up there, I think. And I bet Lee's, I'm not looking at it, but I bet Lee's putting the exact age in there, or she will soon enough. Serial longevity. Thank you.
I was about to say serial love.
That's right. But I promise you, if I ask, if you know the age of Círdan, Lee, add that. Let everyone know. But so it's
With his
interesting.
age at the time of Rings of Power, or his age in the third age?
If it was the Rings of Power and it's right before this period of time, that's like it would just be a minus like 3,000 years or something like that. That's so if you gave the full age up until 11,000 minus 3,000 years, unless you did the math already, would make him like 7,000 years old. That's really old.
She's saying 11,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Lee, is that before or after subtracting the third age? Anyways. But yeah, so like I love how he's able
Only
to
the
reference
important facts.
only the important facts. But he references like all this big stuff, and I like how they got him with like the perfection of Valinor. Though I was uncomfortable with the line at first, but it stated that Círdan always yearns to go to Valinor, but he doesn't because of like his foresight and what he's been told that he needs to stay there and be this individual who pretty much is like the gateway for others to take the straight road to Valinor.
Right.
Yeah, that's why
Although it's
Círdan's like
still
the best guy. Like he wants to go so bad, and he gives that up to build boats for everyone else.
it's still a curved road at this point. Well, no, I guess Arta's
No,
flat.
You're
It's
right.
flat.
Earth is flat right now.
It's
Yeah.
always flat. It's always a straight road.
Yes, that's
It's never
exactly.
fair.
So like when it becomes circular, it's
Yeah.
it's still
Now
straight.
it just keeps going straight. Yeah.
But everything's straight now in Rings of Power. Flat world
Right.
currently.
I was
they were-
asking someone about sunrises and sunset with the flat Earth, and I was like, "How does that work?" And I guess like because of the mountains in the west with the Pelori, it kind of would like work, but like they don't have the same like sunsets and sunrises as we would with the curved Earth.
I
Well,
mean, the sun and moon are being pulled by like
Yeah,
Maya, so they
in
can
the
do whatever they
Silmarillion-
want. Like they're
Well,
just like
remember-
going everywhere.
In the Silmarillion, they talk. I don't remember the names of the ones that carry the sun and the moon, but they go over the flat Earth and then under it and then back over it. So like it would still kind of. I don't know, man.
Oh, it would be the same. So
No,
they're
now
like
that
under
now that
the
I'm
Earth.
thinking about it though, like without the curvature, it doesn't
But what's
matter.
under the Earth?
Rocks.
It's like the
goop.
void or whatever. It's not like the void. It's like it's like the void of darkness. Because remember, Tillian gets dragged through an attack there, and then like brought back up and all that stuff.
Goop.
Goop. It's all
You're getting
goop.
gooped up.
You get gooped up down there,
The
dude.
void of the goop.
That's where the watcher in the
Night.
water, watcher in the water's hanging out down there. The nameless things.
Well, just to keep it going, I guess before we get into more goopy things of Middle Earth, which would probably be its own episode at this point. I do like that like Elrond has a relationship with him because of like,
Mm.
the Havens of Sidian, they're down there and like what happens after with the third kinslaying, Círdan was there, obviously. But he like speaks with him with such reverie. And it's like I very much that's one of my favorite parts of the whole season is Círdan and the way they interact with each other. Because I'm gonna be real with you, there's stuff with Elrond that goes on in the last few episodes where I'm just like, you're kind of pushing it a little. Like
He's
with
being real grumpy.
it's really what he says at the just as I don't mean to skip ahead, like at the end of the fourth episode when she like Galadriel gives him the ring. It's like, yo, save the ring, save yourselves. It's important that Sauron doesn't get this. And he says to the other people, like, they're like, she's sacrificing herself to save us. And he's like, no, it's for the ring. I was like, dude, you didn't need to say that. And she wasn't even really like, I don't even know if it was for the ring. She didn't want the ring to fall in Sauron's possession or anyone else's. And so it's like, I don't know.
Super dramatic moment for sure. It's like, okay, calm down.
Yeah, he really don't like that ring.
Yeah, dude.
I wonder how they're gonna convince him to you know,
Put on Vilya?
put on Vilya.
Yeah, because at this point they're really driving home that he absolutely hates them, and he's
I mean, he's got
really
a while.
sticking with that.
I don't know when does he receive Vilya after the Battle of the Last Alliance? Is that when he?
I mean,
He takes the ring is
I would
given to
assume
him by Gil-galad before he leaves for the War of
Okay,
the Last Alliance.
I wasn't sure if maybe Elrond did an Isildur, and just kind of.
cut it off Gil-galad's hand.
My God, he's like body smoldering and burning. He's like, I need that. You don't need that anymore. I need that.
He looks over at Isildur cutting it off as Sauron. He's like,
destroy that one ring.
But not. They both look at each other awkwardly, holding a severed finger. They're like, "Oh man, the record scratch. You might be wondering how I got here."
It's just like so awkward. Círdan has like the ring Narnia, right? And Elrond has Vilya. And this guy just witnessed like his whole family die. Like Narya gets killed by a rock, which is like super awkward. Like you just got a rock thrown at you, you're done in. And then your dad just had a fight like the most terrible Dark Lord of their lifetime. And he just watched him like burn, and the other one watched their king get melted, straight melted. And then this dude's like, I need that ring. And then everyone else, like, with their fancy rings on, like, well, maybe you don't need that ring. We don't need them either. We don't want that. They just like cover their hands. Very odd.
Actually, didn't once Sauron made the One Ring, didn't all the elves take off their rings? So they wouldn't have had them at that point.
They put them away. I'm just joking around, but
well, yeah, I'm assuming so, Pete.
I know, but still, I'd like to imagine it where like they took the rings off and we're just like, like we're good to go again, guys.
They're like, oh hey,
I think he told us to be careful with these rings, but we brought them with us actually, so we're good.
It's been in my pocket the whole time.
I will say we're doing a very bad job of reviewing the first half of the season. We're just kind of talking about what might happen at the end of the series at this point.
I feel like we do that a lot. We jump.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this is our first time, the three of us live streaming, and this is not surprising to me at all that this is the direction it's gone, because this is just kind of what always happens.
Exactly how
we spent like 20 minutes talking about goop.
Yep. Love goop on shipping in.
We started talking about like
that's the high point of the
Tuor,
season for me.
who are not related to this show at all.
Hey, they said Tuor the last episode.
They did say Tuor in the last episode.
They did say Tuor,
He
which was
name
cool.
dropped.
I was like, sorry,
cool.
you don't say his name. You take his name out of your mouth. I was so upset when he said Baron too. I was like, you did this. You did that to him, like with Barrier, his father. I was so angry. I was just I just to talk about that real quick. I love what they've done with Sauron. He doesn't lie in the whole show. He never lies. He tells the truth every time. And everyone's just like, even in the first season, he was doing that with Galadriel. It was like, well, you convinced me to get the Numenor. He was like, no, I didn't. You did that. You even told me you'd blackmail me and stuff. Like, they've done that character so well. And if there's anything that comes out of this show or whatever direction they go, I think they really, for me, embodied Anatar, the character. And now, even I look back with Halbrand, I'm like, dude, Halbrand is watching the first season, knowing who he is. is a whole different experience. Like when
Yeah,
they're
it's
talking in Numenor and he's almost crying about the evil deeds he's done. And this Gladriel just told him that like Sauron killed her brother. And he's like, oh man, I'm so sorry. Like, I bet you are. So funny. But anyways, I wanted to talk about like the whole, I guess in all the episodes, I wanted to talk about all these like name drops because we like talked about Círdan in the first episode, but Círdan also drops like
yeah,
Rubel and Daedron. We
yeah.
get those Baron drop, Baron and Son of Beta here, Tor, Erendil, so forth. You guys feel like it's doing a service to the show, or do you feel like it's a little fan servicey? Like you think they're just giving it to us as like, hey, remember,
I
Um,
mean, it's hard to not assume that it is just like, oh, they're gonna love it if we name drop like the nerds are gonna go crazy if we talk about Rumil. Like, there's obviously a little bit of that, but like if it worked, then is it bad? Like,
yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's necessarily all fan service. I think it adds depth to the show. It's like for me, it adds depth in the way that um reading the books when, they just randomly bring up Gondolin. Like your first time reading it, you're like,
mm,
what is Gondolin? And they don't really explain it at any point in the books. You just got to kind of figure out, And so I think it adds richness to the world and makes it feel more like, I don't know, they're bringing up like the great deeds of the past,
I
and
I like how
that's
Kieran
actually
talked about it,
that's
you
super
know.
true.
Mhm. I
There's
like how
tons of
Kierdan
references.
talked about
Sorry.
languages. Like with Rumil and Dairon, it went a little deeper for me because like these are two people who have made languages.
right.
Rumil made Sarati, which is the basis of Tangwar, which we know it's Feanor's like lettering. We've recognized that, and then Kirith is made by Dairon after he gets his heart broken, even though he was like complete and utter jerk to Luthien, and goes over the mountains and chills with the dwarves. He makes Kirith, and they adopt that language. So like it's weird. Like I want to ask, like, if I could, like, why they chose to use these two references, because language is super important in Lord of the Rings. Language is heavy important. And that's what's going to bring me to my next point. Why the hell are certain people speaking Quenya in the show? It's weirding me out. Arondir, for example.
Is he speaking
Like,
Quinion?
he's speaking Quenyan. He speaks Quenyan to the trees. And now thinking about it, in that episode when he talks to the Ents, do you think the Ents would recognize Quenya over Sinderi? Probably not. They know both languages, right?
That's a good question that I
Yeah.
don't have an answer for. Why would if you were an elf, right? This is me honestly asking an honest question. If you were an elf, and let's say Arondir, he says he's from Beleriand, so he's a few thousand years old at least. Wouldn't you have time to learn both?
Yeah. I mean, I
Okay,
Yeah.
guess. Thus goes back to my theory. Why can't he be from Gondolin? It's a Noldor city, right? He could be a
right.
Sindarin elf who went there. I mean, they got us going all over the place where they got Arondir being like, I'm Arondir of the Greenwood. So he associates with the green elves, I'm sorry, the Sylvan elves, not the green elves. Um, and then he says he was born in Beleriand. So was that make him a Lyquendi? Probably not. I don't think so. He'd probably be a gray elf, right?
Mm,
So the
yeah,
people of Mount in like Vinyamar, the Noldor,
right.
and the Sindar kind of mingled a little bit, I believe it's written. And so some of the Sindar went to Gondolin along with the Noldor, no? And I know someone's going to be in, but who would teach him? See, I know Lee's going to be asking these relevant questions because she's the best about this. Yeah, like who would have taught him Quenya? Who would have taught Adar Quenya? That's another thing that gets me too. How would he have known to speak in the Feanorian, in the Noldorian Quenya, as it's referred to, because he uses the instead of the S sound? How would he
Right.
have learned to do that? So one thing that I will say my complaint with some of these episodes back, my point is that yes, there's a focus on language, but it's very strange the way they're using language. Like Mirdania speaks Sindarian to Anatar in an Noldor city. Weird.
Yeah, that is. I see. I don't have the ear to even really notice this.
Do you watch with subtitles? Because it'll say like
Yeah.
Quenya and
I
then
I
the
do.
word.
I don't think I've watched them with subtitles actually. Maybe I need to.
Yeah, it'll always say
Or
like Sindarin and then the line.
Interesting. I
yeah.
haven't really played that much of a focus on which dialect they're speaking, but now I will for sure.
Yeah, I
I
think
was that fun with it.
the one with Adar confused me because like there's already so many people asking who Adar is because obviously we don't know. So like the fact that he used like Feanori and Quenya like is kind of just like, okay, what does this mean? Like, but maybe it means nothing too. Like maybe it's just like a it doesn't mean I don't know. I don't know.
He's one of the sons of Feanor.
I blow
I'm
your
just
mind a
kidding.
little more. Adar is a Sindarian word, so his name is Sindari. It just it starts like
Well,
unraveling a little, for me,
well,
and I'm just like, maybe there's a
didn't they
reason.
say Adar means father, right?
It does. It
So
does.
that might not be his actual name.
Exactly. But why
Yeah.
give him a
That's just a
Sindarian name?
well,
I feel
that's
like he probably
mm,
just spoke Quenya to Galadriel because he knew that
Hmm.
she knew Quenya. And so it was like a hey, like
I forget.
we got a connection. Maybe he
And then the
doesn't speak
name,
Quenya casually.
I don't know. But Alatariel, the name is Quenya for the Telerian name of Galadriel. So I don't know. It's like there's certain things I know they're not
I
going to
think
be
it's
like,
the
oh,
opposite.
Alatariel's Quenya, right? And
I
then
think Alatariel is Telering.
it's Quenya.
I might be confusing it now though.
I'm out of my
Um,
depth. I'm just gonna go out and say I don't know.
I regardless, it could be like if whichever one's correct, we'll say because I'm not going to sit here and try to remember this, but it's weird. It's my point.
Well,
But
maybe it's a deeper plot point to that will like you'll get answers to these things later, right?
mm,
Maybe. I
I'm
don't
hoping
know.
so. I'm hoping so.
That would be
What is
cool.
like? That's a good question though. What do you guys like, Miranda? What are you looking for out of this show to like really resolve since you've been watching these 5 episodes? There's the whole mystery box of who the stranger is, or for me, there's like, how are they going to do the 9 and then the 1? How are they going to get to that point where you get to the Battle of the Gwythlo, where the Numenorians show up, and like so forth? Because we don't have the 1 made yet, and the 1 is to be made after all the rings are done. But it kind of seems like we're running out of time, right?
I don't think we're gonna see the one this season. I think maybe they're gonna make the 9, but I don't think we're gonna get the one. Because like we're gonna have what, 5 seasons? So I think the one might happen later. I mean, if they do it this season, they're not gonna be able to put too much time into it. Um, but the thing that it's kind of my general like mindset change with this show in general that adds to what I'm looking for is that they're covering the big picture items. Like the
Yeah.
small story is what's new or made up or changed that, some people might complain about, but like the big picture is what they're trying to cover. So like we're getting the Celebrimbor and the rings and Anatar, and we're getting Numenor and the fall of Numenor. Like we're getting the big picture items just with like more detail because we don't really have that much detail written in the first place. Um, so like what I'm looking for is just the big picture to like all happen. Like I do really want the Stranger mystery box to wrap up because I don't want them to drag that out
Yeah, me
like
neither.
a really long time. Um, but I think they're already doing a pretty good job of like covering big things. Like they're like, this season we're gonna really focus on the fall of Eregion. Like that's gonna be a big thing. And it should be. So I'm sure they're gonna cover like all of the big historic moments, which will make me satisfied.
I agree. I don't. So many people like to say that Tolkien had this grand plan for the Second Age, but in truth, him himself said it's there's not a lot of information. It's almost intentional. This is a lost history. That's what it is. It's a Lord of the Rings is a post-apocalyptic story. It's a story about things after these great events that occurred, like a Dark Lord making a One Ring to rule over them all. So all occurs in the Second Age, and we know the big events. But I kind of enjoy seeing a bit of the nitty gritty details where it's like, oh, what happened? What was the conversation here when they decided to start making the rings? And it works because Charles Edwards and Charles Vickers are such good actors and their chemistry is so good, which is something a lot of people back in season 1 said was never going to happen. I remember talking to people. They're like, I don't see Charles Edwards and Charlie Vickers talking to each other, being Sauron and Celebrimbor. Just doesn't compute in my head. And I'll give it the showrunners. They totally subverted this and made us all be like, yo, best part of the show is Aragion. Now you've completely killed it with this. It
Yeah.
is a crazy 180 that I've seen with this. But you know, something we really not talked about, we touched base on like the Stranger and like Aragion, Círdan, a little bit of Elrond and Galadriel. We talk about them later, but Numenor. And I know that like, you know, Miranda, you just did a video on some of the island Numenor. I'm a big fan of Numenor. That's my favorite aspect of the lore. I don't know how Max feels about it.
I
I
love
think he likes
Numenor.
it.
Big
He
fan.
loves Numenor.
Big fan of
Numenor.
Numenor.
Um, do you feel like
It's
it's rushed?
no. Well, okay. Here's my I'll get to what if I think it's rushed in terms of like, are you talking about like the splitting of the faction with like the Kingsmen and kind of like the stuff happening? So you have a 5 season show. Which hand is in the camera? This one. You have a 5 season show, right? So season one, we've seen what that was, kind of just like setting up, kind of like a big setup season, really. Season two, obviously, is kind of going to be culminating in the fall of Oregion. And then in so I think that season three, we're going to see the fall of Numenor by the end of season three. And then because like we have 3 seasons left and we still need to see Numenor fall, the establishment of Arnor and Gondor, which is like those are two pretty good sized kingdoms by the time of the War of the Last Alliance. So I think that because they only have 5 seasons to work with and apparently 8 episode seasons, which is one of my complaints about the show, is like that means they kind of have to rush things in order to fit everything that happens, all these major events that happen into the series. And so you'll see, like, I think that they're setting up a fractured Numenor right now. And I don't think we're going to see too much more. This is my prediction for the rest of the season. I don't think we're going to see too much more. I don't think we're going to see much of a more heavy focus on Numenor for the remainder of the season. I could be way wrong because I think they're going to set up that fractured base as the kind of jumping off point for season three, where we're going to see a lot more of this Numenorian split and hopefully a specific temple being built
I
at some point.
totally agree with you. I'm pretty sure the rest of the season is going to focus on the fall of Eregion. Like that's going to
Yeah.
be the biggest focus. And with that, probably some Khazad-dûm stuff because they keep like teasing that there's a Balrog. But
I really hope that the dwarves go to Eregion.
I do too. So, Miranda, do you like any more thoughts with like Numenor and any of that of the story going on with there? Because I know like Max here, he doesn't think we're gonna see. I don't think we're gonna see the fall of Numenor until like the end of the third season. That's just me.
Yeah, that's my
I
guess as
agree.
well.
Like I definitely don't. I don't think we're seeing it this season for sure. I do think some of the Numenor plot is a little bit rushed, and that's
Yeah.
just because like literally yesterday I made a video about Numenor, and like a lot of the comments were people saying like, why didn't they explain this in the show? Because I was explaining like why there's a split between the faithful and the Kingsmen, and like they don't really spend a lot of time explaining that. It's kind of just already there. And so I like they're doing things really rushed, but I don't think it's going to be so rushed that it's already going to fall. Um, I agree that next season it would make sense for next season to have a way more Numenor focus because this season we have a Region focus.
Yeah, and I think that. Oh, sorry, no, go ahead, Pete.
No, finish your thought.
No, I was just
Because
gonna
I'm
say,
going to
yeah,
talk for a while. You know
like
me.
I think they kind of had to rush it, or like I think they had to start the show. If the remainder of the seasons are only going to be 8 episodes, I think they had to start the show with Numenor kind of being established. It's already split, and what Miranda was just saying kind of made me think about this line in episode 5 when Anatar slash Sauron slash my goop boy was talking to Celebrimbor about the rings for men and how he, you know, says Numenor is marvelous or whatever. And they're the only people that I fear, basically, which we know that's true. And that, but he says, but they're also fractured. They're split, and I fear them. I like that he doesn't say I fear for them. He's just like I fear them, and he sees that split. And I think because Sauron knows that men are easily swayed, uh, that's why he sees this split happening in Numenor, and he's like, I really need to get these 9 rings over to Numenor quick because I would love to subjugate them into being my most feared servants. Um, anyways,
So
so yeah,
for me with Numenor, I'm just gonna gather my thoughts here real quick. There's a lot going on. There's some things that I wish they had just done where it's like you could have had them interacting with Southlanders and been like, oh yeah, I'm like 200 years old. And I would have been like, oh shit. Like, damn, that's a Numenorian. Okay. Because it's the like you don't hear about this gift of the valley, blessing of the valley.
like
This
the long life that they have.
exactly.
Yeah,
And I feel like even with the Rush storyline, it would have been a lot better if they established the age of some of these individuals. Because at this time in the books, Elendil's like 200 years old. He's born like 200 years before the Akalabeth when the events
yeah.
go down. That's like 3319 in the second age. So it's hard for me because then you have Isildur, and then you're going to have these 2 other seasons where they're finding Arnor and Gondor. Well, like, what are you going to do here? Have it happen in all in 5 years? They're going to have to do a time jump. And if they don't do a time jump, they're going to hurt themselves really
That's
badly
where
with it.
I think we're going to see a time jump. I think that we're going to see the fall of Numenor. Maybe not the last episode of season 3. I don't know why I like speculating about. Somebody said the roadmap for the show is one of the funniest things to speculate on, but I like thinking about it.
I like it too,
And
dude.
I think that at the end of season 3, we'll see kind of towards the end, we'll see the fall of Numenor. And I think then we're going to see the faithful escape to Middle Earth, hopefully with more of their spooky Palantirs that are spooky for some reason.
So spooky.
Um, and then we'll see the establishment, like this, like the idea of like making these kingdoms, and Anarion and Isildur and Elendil are going to found Gondor and Arnor. And then I think season 4 is going to start post time jump.
That's a good point. I want one episode in the 3rd or 4th season to be Isildur dragging the Stone of Eric up the hill for the whole episode because that thing weighs like a ton. It's 6 feet long.
Yeah.
So if they do that for me, it's a win.
He's
I'm
gonna
for
have
the
his
whole season.
he's gonna have his Sisyphus arc. What is it?
Y-
The guy that pushes the rock all the time, is that Sisyphus?
Is that his
Sisyphus?
name? I know that
don't
I know
know.
what you're talking about.
The
The
guy
guy
that pushes the
in the
rock up the
underworld.
hill the whole time.
Yeah, every day, and then he has got to
Oh,
start
wait,
over.
his name was Dwayne Johnson, right?
Little known fact.
If you didn't know, guys,
Yeah.
that's who Dwayne the Rock is.
That's how he got his name. That's how he got the name, the moniker.
That's also why he's so strong,
Little
because
known
he was
fact.
pushing that rock so much.
Yeah.
Makes
You
complete sense.
you do that for an eternity. You do that for an eternity. You're gonna get into the WWE as
You're
well,
also
brother.
gonna bald too, okay?
Yeah.
That's what happens.
It's
Yeah, he's
stressful.
probably in. Yeah,
stressful. What if it rolls back on you? Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that. Yeah, well, that's my guess though. That's what I think could happen. Maybe.
I think it
And-
makes a lot of sense. I think that
But yeah, they will need a time jump. You can't show the establishment of 2 kingdoms in 8 episodes. That's
yeah,
Minas Tirith
really-
is huge.
It's not that long though. They like it's like 3319. They go down there, 3320, and then like the War of Wrath starts like a little later, around 3430 or something, 3440, because it's like 7 years the Barad-dûr like siege.
Right.
So they don't like it. It's still like a lot, like 50 years at least, of time spent working on these kingdoms. And then we still have to have Orthanc. We have to have Helm's Deep. You have to have Cirith is made by them.
Right.
The towers
Towers of the Teeth.
Warna, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Minas Ithil, and then Minas Anor as well. So there's like a lot.
Osgiliath.
Osgiliath, Fortress of Stars. They got a lot going on here.
What about Dol
So-
Amroth?
That's true. That's true. And then we said it before, Amon Sul. And then
Yeah.
he's got to have a white tower built for him too by Gilgalad. There's a lot that needs to get built. There's season 4 is going to be the architecture season. Like just working. We're working all day here. No Sarah, just work.
just the construction, the whole time.
Can I tell you my theory though? I think we're going to get duped, and I don't know if Aregion's going to fall this season because they need to
I'm
do
pretty sure it
2
is.
things. I know it probably is, but I feel like almost it couldn't, because yes, how are we going to get the Celebrimbor banner? Sauron's not the one invading. Adar is. Then you have the Battle of the Gwathlo. The Numenorians come and Minister and Kiratan and his son to save them. That's why they win. But even so, before that, you're going to need Elrond and Imladris, where the dwarves and Amdir and Ambroth, the elves from Lornath, come and save them. And I've already asked the showrunners, they're not including Amdir or Amroth, so that story's not happening. But they still have to find Rivendell at this point. And there's a lot to still happen in 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like, I don't know how it's going to work. Like, how can you have a Eregion fall and then him being used as a banner, and then, of course, the One Ring made, and like have it make logical sense in the end? So I'm a little worried about it.
I
do think the One Ring, I'm with Miranda that the One Ring is going to be later. I don't think we're going to see the One Ring this season.
Probably.
All the other stuff, I don't know. That's kind of the limitation of having this compressed timeline in a 5 seasons of 8 episodes. You really gotta find a way to kind of fast track all that stuff. That's why I think the Adar thing is kind of a way that they're going to use that to combine certain events, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is I don't think we're getting all of those specific events. I think it is going to be more big picture, where you're going to have like the Adar coming in as like a representation of some of that other conflict. But in the trailer, we saw Elrond asking the dwarves for help, and then we also see Anatar coming and saying, like, give me the 9, like, give me the rings. So obviously he's going to still come back and be against Celebrimbor. And I got confirmation from the showrunners that Celebrimbor banner is happening. So
spoiler alerts. No, it's kidding.
Sorry.
Like,
Sorry,
you haven't
everyone.
like, if like that, no one in this chat has read this book already.
That's what I literally, yeah.
I'm just playing.
Next week I'm going to talk about the Fall of Numenor, and I'm like, do I need to put a spoiler in this, even though this book was published like 70-some years ago?
I made 3 videos. I made a video on Anadion, Elendil, and Isildur. And I did the last few days. And what I try to do is refer to the fall as the Akalabeth, because not everyone knows what that means. So it's like kind of like spoilery, but not really if you don't know what the word means. And more so focused on like the actual story. Because if you didn't know, everyone, none of these people are alive in the Third Age because they're men. They died. But they also, we see, if you watch Lord of the Rings, you know exactly what happens to Isildur and Elendil. Like,
I've never seen it.
You never seen the movies?
I've never even read the book.
Oh, right. I forgot. You're an airplane mechanic.
Yeah, who's this guy?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
This is so awkward. I invited the wrong person again, didn't I?
I just constantly have Wikipedia up, and I'm just panicking 90% of the time. Just like, oh, I'm really fast at typing and speed reading.
Real good at Googling, guys.
Yeah, I'm so good at Googling. Also, how I fix airplanes. Just kidding.
Well, I know which airline I'm not flying, so thank you. But yeah, I just, like, for me, I think it'd be really fun to do it that way, because you got the Celebrimbor banner at the beginning of the 3rd season, kind of finishing that up, and it leads right into like Numenor's exposure to Middle Earth, because that's the one thing I do think is going to happen. If it doesn't happen this season, next season, I feel like some of the Numenorians, because we need to get Isildur back to Numenor.
Yes,
it's stated in the books he gets married in Numenor, oddly enough, and that he also has to save the tree Nimloth the Fair.
Yes, and I definitely want to see that. If I don't see that, I riot.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna riot. That's like my favorite part. It's the most redeeming factor of Isildur. If they don't do it, I'm gonna be like, you guys are getting yeeted just like him in the Mount Doom.
Is that in the appendices?
Or
is that just the
portion?
Is that just the Alcalabeth and unfinished?
Akalabeth. There's the Akalabeth, but the discussion of the discussion of saving the tree, I don't know if it's in the appendices. I thought it was just in.
I don't know. I'm just curious.
Akalabeth.
Because it's a really cool little story. I love it.
Okay, books around me. So
yeah, we don't.
I can't look.
I got this one.
Hell yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be in there.
No, that's gonna just be a depressing story. That's all that's in there.
Yeah.
But anyways, one thing I did want to talk about, because we didn't even mention it. I feel like I never hear anyone really talk about it. But like, we had Ents show up, and no one is. I feel like no one cares.
We saw Ent wives.
We saw Ent wives, dude. Winter Blossom.
Well, Ent wife. Oh, just one.
Singular.
And one Ent. 2 Ents. 2 Ents. That was sick though. I loved the Ents. I thought they were cool.
I liked
Yeah.
her little strong arm, that came out.
Yeah.
Gave
Yeah.
it the thing.
Yeah.
My strong arm.
I
But the
talked
one
about it when I was on Talking with Friends with Andy. We talked about the Ents, and she made a great point of like they're much hastier than
Yeah.
the Ents that we saw in the Jackson trilogy. But that's almost cool because like it is like it's much earlier and they're probably, they've got more energy. They're fighting the good fight. I thought it was
That's
cool.
true.
I love
Also
the dialogue between them and like Arondir was one of my favorite parts.
yeah.
But sorry about that, Max.
No, you're good. I would make a quick argument that the Ints in the books are a little bit hastier than the Ints in the Jackson trilogy. Because they're
Quickbeam.
just they kind of go to the
Quick
Int moon.
move so
They're like,
hasty.
well, yeah, they go to the Int moon and like 3 days later they're like, yeah, we'll go to war. Like they're like, all right, we're gonna do this. Harum, or whatever they say. That's just
Barum.
a
Ba-ra-room.
quick aside. Like, so I think that maybe the Ints are seeing this kind of wanton destruction and stuff all of a sudden, and they're like, this is messed up, man. So I don't
I
know.
I wish their faces didn't look as mangled. I just throwing that out there. I love the designs, but
Yeah.
for me in the books, my imagination runs ways. I never pictured them fully as tree people. Like because it said they had smooth arms. You
Yeah.
know,
And
and like
fingers.
and
Yeah.
fingers is creepy as fuck. Like
They're kind of described really weird looking.
Like
Dude,
kind
they're
of
creepy.
gross.
Yeah.
And they have like hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this one image I gotta find the artist, but I love the artist because it's the one that has like tree beard and he's just like a trunk with arms, and it looks mad crazy. And he's like Beard's moss, but then you have Aragorn right next to him, and they're like Orthic, and Aragorn's right next to him. But for some reason, this artist decided that Aragorn had like a bowl cut, and Aragorn looks so wild. He looks drunk, and I'll find it for you. I'll send you guys in the chat. You will laugh just as much as I do. But sadly, it's Ted Naismith and this guy's artwork where it like kind of fits this picture of what I thought the Ents looked like when I first read the book. I now love the tree beard design for the movies
Oh,
because they
same.
got the eyes right. Because
Yeah.
the eyes are supposed to be like yellow and like almost timeless. So
Yeah.
I did enjoy that part. I didn't really get that from the Rings of Power Ents though. That's my like one complaint I would say.
I think they look fine.
Hmm.
I'm not even disagreeing with you. I'm just giving you I don't know. I don't feel strongly about it either. It's like the orc baby. People are like, what do you think? I'm like, I don't care. It's an
Yo,
orc
we're
baby.
Gloog Nation here. We love
Yeah,
Gloog.
whatever. Yeah, big fan of
I
that.
hope Gloog
And
has a
like,
401k plan and everything under Adar,
yeah, I don't know.
Worried
Go
about
for
it.
it. Yeah.
Under
I
work
bet I
out.
bet I bet Adar has better retirement bennies than Sauron, probably,
Oh,
most
absolutely.
likely.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they get that. Never mind.
No, they definitely don't have dental.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
No.
But they probably have they do probably have good vision. I've never seen it work with glasses.
That's a good
True.
point.
Not yet.
They live in caves too. They see
Or maybe
Maybe-
everything's just blurry for them and that's why they don't win wars that often.
Yeah, that's why they're really bad at archery. So, like,
horrible, man. You see how many
they can't-
arrows they missed at the Bridge of Khazad-dû? So
yeah, I can't see shit.
many.
And on
I've been down in this cave for like 400 years, dude.
And
I'm
on
tired.
Bridge of Khazad-dûm, the Fellowship, they don't even have their cloaks yet. Because I was gonna say, well, it's hard to see them with their cloaks on, but no, they don't even have them. Yeah, they're just bad
Dude.
shots.
Yeah.
There's a giant
They all
flaming
need glasses.
shadow demon. Like that place was lit up.
Yeah, it's bright. It's as bright as Khazad-dûm's been since the dwarves were there.
Yeah, with their lamps.
Yeah, yeah, for real.
Yo, talking about the doors though, we saw some wild shit going on. We saw like Doran the Third turned the Doran the Greedy. Like he was like, we're slinging deals today, boys. You
Yeah.
want rings? I want wealth. Let's go. What do you got? And then they had the dry aged steak on the table for like half the episode. That dude did not eat that. That thing is old. Just sitting there, too busy obsessing over the ring. I was like, that's the oldest dwarvish steak I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He's just aging it more.
That's what I thought. I was like, dry aged. Nice. I
Yeah.
guess that's what he's a king. That makes sense, actually.
Only the best.
You
But
would
yeah.
notice a dry aged steak.
Yeah, I did not
the
notice that
episode.
there was
I
a
didn't either.
steak at all in that
Yeah.
scene.
You would.
I used to be a chef. Okay, I love.
I
food.
know. That's what I'm like. Of course, he's like, oh, what's that?
I want more food in the show. I wish they were like eating more food all the time. Like the whole clam scene in season 1 with Sauron, I loved it. I was like, yeah,
They
of
look
course you would be eating clams there, you fucking Númenorian place.
Yeah, the only food we're getting this season is like Nori and Poppy and the stranger eating bugs.
Oh, yo, that's
that
a
is
fun
true.
line.
We haven't seen a lot of food.
When he's talking there, he says like Atelier Quivio or something like that, or Atelier Quivier. Like, dude, he's saying like arise life, I think, or something like that. If someone knows the exact phrase, it'd be awesome. But like, but he also, it sounded like he said like rise like waters of life, which is like what Quiviena means, and then Quivio means life. So like, it's cool that they add that stuff with
Yeah.
like the stranger and Quenya, because they would have spoken Quenya because the Valar adopted Quenya. Um, but yeah, just sorry, just tangent real quick. But yeah,
No,
eating
that's a good
bugs, not my jam.
that's a good detail to that part that I remember seeing. It might have been, did you made a video on that, didn't you?
No,
Or
I make
something,
a lot of
maybe.
videos. They're
I know.
stupid.
I feel like I saw you say that before, and I didn't know that. I didn't realize that when I was watching the show because I'm like, I don't know
No,
what
I
he's
did.
saying.
I did actually say that. You're right. I made like a top
Yeah.
5 thing when I was like sick or
Oh
something.
yeah, yeah, that was that one. And I was like, that was I didn't know that. That was awesome. And like that's that kind of like those are some of like the really deep lores in the show that I miss. You know what I mean? That I'm like, I wouldn't put two and two together. I'm just like he's chanting in Quinion. That's cool. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Love that for him.
Scone Mistress, who is dropping some information saying that there was food in Casa Doom. That's right. Diesel was buying some mushrooms, and
Yeah.
she was. I mean, like, yeah, it checks out, dude. That
That's
checks
true.
out.
Oh yeah,
And
and
it's
then oh yeah, no, and there's the dinner scene with Durin and Disa as well when he's like, this tastes like last year's bread, and she's like, it is last year's bread, and I
I felt
laughed.
like, is that a
Uh,
callback to moldy bread? You
I don't
know,
know, but I thought it was funny.
maggoty bread.
I loved it. She was just like this, it is last year's bread or whatever, and I was like, that's funny. Eating old
Is
bread.
that Dave? Is that Dave in there? Dave the Noldo? I think that's who Tia and Da is. Well, I only know this because he uses the different name for Gondoline strictly. So and I saw him use it before. I'm like, that's probably Dave. But he says that yeah, it's a Turian Kuivi, you know. So yeah, it's awesome. Just talking about the Stranger Thing. Um, do you think they're gonna show us Lembas ever? I really hope they show us Lembas, you
I
Hmm.
know,
hadn't thought about it.
I
because only
I
Galadriel knows how to make it right now.
Arondir could probably use some. He's got a long walk ahead of him, going all the way from
What's
Pelargir up to Aregion. That's a long walk, dude.
Oh yeah, what I can't remember what happened with Arondir at the end. The last thing I saw him talking about was Theo becoming Lord of Pelargir. I was like, this kid's 16, dude. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
he he basically made Theo. He's like, all right, you go lead those people, and he took off after the Orc Coast, so that's he's following
Oh,
the Orc
okay,
Coast. So
okay.
I'm assuming he's gonna break Galadriel out of at our jail. That's my guess.
Maybe. I hope so. They also show him in the final trailer fighting Damrod, the troll.
Oh,
It's gonna be
Arondir
sick.
has no plot armor. He could die.
Don't say that. He's my favorite elf right now.
He's one of my favorite characters in the whole show, but
Yeah,
he
dude.
got
We're gonna
no.
be
He
stuck
has
with
a
like
what I love
Gilgalad?
about. Okay, you put some respect on Gilly G, dude.
Gilly
Um,
G?
but no, the Arondir, he's one of my favorite characters, and what I love about the show is that with characters like Arondir and Valandil, up until
Mhm.
is that there's these characters that I start to really like that are original characters to the show, and they have to make original characters because otherwise we kind of know, like I don't get stressed when I watch a Seal Door. I'm like, it's gonna be exciting, but I'm not worried because I know he's not gonna die.
That's totally true.
But with Arondir, I'm like,
He's done, dude. I feel like Theo's the Witch King. So I feel like they're gonna push him, and if Arondir perishes, like that's another thing that pushes him to the side of darkness.
I don't know about it. I don't know about the Witch King. Maybe in Asgard. Why the Witch King? Why that high
The
honor?
sword, the sword
The
being
sword.
very
Yeah, the
similar to
sword
The
is
Morgul blade, you
that's
know.
true. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you
And I
that.
feel like they're gonna reveal that his father's Numenorian or something.
That would be interesting. That'd
Mhm.
be really interesting because yeah, we don't know who his father is. That's true. In
Yeah,
season one, I thought it was Arondir's kid.
yeah. A lot of people were like he's
A lot
hiding
of
his
people did.
ears.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
glad
knew a
he's
lot of
not.
people.
it's kind
Uh,
of hard to do that.
the
Yeah,
what the
everyone's
elf
calling it. Yeah, everyone's being like knife ears around you. You're just like got
Well,
like
they
a
never
headphones on the whole time.
well, they did. They
Earmuffs.
really did never show his ears in the show in
Yeah,
season
they
one.
never
He
did.
had his hair covered it, so that's why I was like, maybe that was just a fake out, pump fake.
Yeah.
But um, somebody uh, anyways, I brought up Valendale, and that was like the high point of the whole series for me so far. In terms of like emotional impact the show had on me, watching him get
Mhm.
stabbed in the back by Kimmin, really that really got me.
Kim and the bitch, man. I can't
Yeah.
stand it, dude.
I was watching it at work and I was leaning over my toolbox, watching on my phone on lunch break, and I was like, and then like right after that scene, I had to go back to work and I like turned off my phone. And I was like, man, this sucks. Like, what a horrible way to end my lunch. I was
I'm gonna go work on
like,
plates.
yeah, I was like, what the hell?
That's a good
Mar-
point though. Like that was definitely the most emotional scene, but like
Mm.
maybe it is because all of the named characters from the text, like we know what's gonna happen to them in the big picture. So
Yeah, they
like
got plot
they're
armor for a while.
yeah, there's like way lower stakes for a lot of them because we're just like he'll be fine. He's gonna live into the third age. Like
Yeah.
the new characters, like yeah, they can just rip them away from us and like break hearts with them,
I mean,
which
really
they
only
did with
though,
Valandil.
only two of them really make it to the third age.
3, Kierden.
Oh, Kierdan. Sorry, I'm forgetting Kier. I got to put some
Círdan,
respect on.
Galadriel, and Elrond.
Yeah,
That's
those
it.
that's kind of it. The ring
Mm-hmm.
bearers, really, in a way.
I mean, everyone's just on the edge of their seat. Like, when's Celebrimbor gonna go? Like, it's kind of messed up. We have like, we all like. I feel bad for Charles Edwards. He had to go like do all this publicity, all this stuff, only for like him to die this season, probably. And I'm like, oh, that's tough.
He's really
Sean,
killing it though. I really didn't
yeah,
love Celebrimbor in season 1. He was not he didn't really impress me the character wise. Um, but this season he's killing it. I really like his portrayal as Celebrimbor a lot.
yeah, I definitely think he's doing a good job.
It's a big
Uh,
challenge for them, because they gotta like we know this story, but they have to establish how we got to that story, and it's really hard. It's like, oh, are we going to talk about Numenor from 2,000 years, like 800 years? Oh, we're at Aldarion, though I would love to see Aldarion. It's one of my favorite stories, but like, it's just how do we get here? And I have to give them credit, even if I didn't enjoy it. I know a lot of people got upset about stuff, but like I have to give them credit because it takes a lot to take that on and be like, yo, we're gonna try to explain this in a compressed timeline, how to get all these characters together and have a cohesive story that's gonna end up where we have the start of the Lord of the Rings, or like at least the events after that are discussed in the Shadow of the Past and the Council of Elrond chapters. And looking back in season one, I enjoyed a lot more because of season 2 and the changes that came from it and like having
yeah,
things established. There's some stuff that just dropped, and I'm glad they have like just gone. And but we still have 3 episodes, and we've talked about a few things. We talked about like we didn't really talk about Tom Bombadil, but I think we're all agree we like Tom Bombadil.
like Tom, like
We
Tom.
like
I hope I
Yeah.
get to see him be a little bit more merry and jolly at some point, but overall, I do like Tom. And like, I remember we were having a Discord chat too, where like there are these points in the Fellowship where he's pretty kind of dour and more somber. So like, I don't have an issue with that. I just do want to see him kind of doing a little skipping a dance a little bit.
skip a little boy. Come
Yeah,
on, dance for us.
I do like
um,
when the stranger's like, teach me how to control fire. He's like, I can't control fire. Fire is its own thing, dude. Like, what are you talking about? That's
He's
weird.
like, you just were breathing fire spewing out of the
Yeah.
fireplace. And, or like, oh, here's the thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was the Goldberry thing.
Yeah. What was up with that?
What was up with that?
That's
Thoughts,
not none.
Miranda?
Um, I've heard a lot of like interesting theories about like the fact that she was just a voice and we didn't see her. Um, Especially like because she is like a river spirit and then like
Mm.
he's in a desert, so obviously those aren't super compatible. Um, so like I've seen a lot of people talk about like maybe she's not actually there. Like she's still in that hanging out in the Withywindle, like, and then there's just some other way, maybe unexplained, like how he can communicate with her at times. Like I don't think we're gonna see her at all.
No.
I would
Um,
I don't want to interrupt you, but you gave me a
you're
good
good.
thought.
No, go her.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say that like you just made me think because in the episode that we see Tom, he says back in the Withy Windle, they used to call me Tom Bombadil, Tommy B.
The jar shakes too on the mountain place. I want to point that out too.
Does it?
Yeah, it shakes.
Um, and so maybe she like maybe Goldberry is back in the Withy Windle taking care of that, you know, and then like she's kind of like they can kind of sing to each other from across a distance because you know they're just they are.
Yeah, no
And
rules.
there's no they don't yeah, Tom Bombadil ain't got no rules. And then at the end of the series, whenever he kind of bows out of the series, his last line's like Goldberry's waiting and just dips.
That's
That'd be a good exit for
That'd be
Tom
good.
Bombadil.
that's
Yeah.
how I feel it's gonna work because it's so weird for them to say in the Withy Window because the Withy Window is a river, but you guys got copies of like the Adventures of Tom Bombadil. In
Yeah.
the story, the Withy Window River, the river spirit is Goldberry. Goldberry, when he comes up to the river, pulls Tom's beard under, being mischievous, and Tom's like, "Stop it! Don't do that." And then comes back the next day. He's like, "Yo, you want to get married?" And they're like, "Hell yeah!" And then all the like the badgers show up and all like the forest creatures, and they have like a ceremony. It's mad chill. And so for me, I truly feel like he's brought water with him, as weird as it sounds, from the Withy Windle to still talk to Goldberry. And then when he feels like he's succeeded here in Rune, where he finds out like why nature is dying, you know, this dark wizard's here, who he's the one who he guided. And like, you know, now there's this other wizard here, and maybe he feels like the job can be moved on, they could work on this, and he could return back to his home. And that's kind of how the vibe I got from that. And
Yeah.
like, but I do find it weird. Tom's like, "What woman? You're here, aren't you?" And it's like it's kind of funny he does that to him, but totally just messing with him. He knows he's talking
No,
to
He's
Goldberry.
gaslighting.
that was actually one of my favorite Tom moments because like everyone thinks of Tom as being silly, but like he is just kind of weird. Like the
Oh
things he
yeah,
says is
super
weird.
weird.
So like that was one of my favorite things that he said. I was just like, yeah, that's appropriately weird.
I do love like his first line is like you found a goat or
Yeah,
something.
he's like the goat. And then he names the goat Arwen.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, look at that. We have a question in the chat for you, Miranda. Where's your stash?
Oh,
It's fine.
Literally, when you were
stash.
talking about Kirdan earlier and you mentioned a stash, I was like, ah, like I should have gotten another mustache because like we're never like all together like this usually. Yeah.
Well, I see it's getting a little late. I know we've been talking for like an hour. I do want to do one last thing. I want to kind of hear your predictions for the last three episodes because we've got a lot going on. We have episode five. Episode five for me is one of the best of the series. It is one of the best episodes. I love the Numenor Shrine Team of Valandil, though I still believe it's a Whedon. Don't at me. I'm not agreeing it's Nienna.
I don't know who Ian is.
Whedon is
She's the Maya that's married to Osei, who
yeah.
also served under Ulmo, and the Numenorians prayed to
Uh,
her.
Shout out to Miranda for pointing out a mistake in the Tolkien Gateway. I even annotated it that the Tolkien creator Ex Libris Mir found this error, and we
Oh no
switched it
way.
from yeah, like so because I'm in the Gateway Discord as well because I sometimes I spend a lot of time on there, so I sometimes will see mistakes too, and like I've done one or two. It's fun. The community is actually really wonderful. I don't know if anyone knows this, but like Gateway is a free space. A lot of people do a lot of edits. Some people have done thousands of edits. So
I
like
love Tolkien
small
Gateway.
It's
little errors like
such a
that.
good resource. Such a
You
good
gotta
resource.
always keep an eye on. The first thing I ever corrected was that they said 7 boats in the second age timeline instead of 9 boats of the faithful who escaped the Akalabeth. And so I had to correct that. And now we have this one where it said Olmo, but it's supposed to be Ose. Ose is the one who raised Numenor out of the ground.
Do you think it
Or
was
out of the sea.
Olmo or Ose that gave Kierdan the little nudge when he's going
Probably
out to drop
Olmo.
the ring?
I
So
think it was
yeah,
Ulmo.
yeah,
I
that seems like
do.
that's a more of
Some
a
people
Olmo
were
thing to do.
some people were saying it was the ring doing it. I don't think so at all. I don't
No,
not at all.
no way, no shot. No, that was Olmo for sure.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
got Ulmo from that scene.
At least, we're never gonna get an answer for it because that's like a minor thing. But in my head canon, it's Olmo for sure. You know, he do be doing stuff like that.
He listens. He's the only one who still truly cares for the children of Iluvatar, and it's said
Yeah.
that he's in all the rivers and the streams of the world. Though his power in Beleriand dissipated because Morgoth's evil was spreading. But anyways, Miranda, let's start off with you. What do you think is going to happen in the next 3
Wait,
episodes?
hold up. Wait, pause for 1 second. I want to hear Miranda's
Pause.
things, but I ran out of Waterloo a while ago, and I just gotta
And
I
we can't
gotta
have
re-up,
that.
or I'm
That's a
gonna
real
be
Get
too
outta
crisis.
here.
parched to talk. So let me gather my thoughts, and you gather yours real fast.
I'll think about it.
And wearing this really cool shirt that I got from the Voices of Artists store. It's called You Don't Want That Smoke. It's kind of faded out now, but yeah, we wore them all for the first trivia event, I think, or something like that.
Nice. I'm wearing my Morgoth shirt that we wore for trivia.
Hell yeah, that's sick. I didn't get a new shirt with the new Isolation Shop
I
drop.
didn't
Isolation
either.
M, but
Yeah,
I want that
didn't either.
Barador one. That looks sick. It looks really
The
cool.
sleeve is so cool.
So cool. It's so dope. What flavor we got today? We're still peach?
No, I'm so lucky, dude. I found a cherry limeade in the back.
What? Cherry
Ooh.
limeade? You fancy
Yep.
bitch.
That's me.
For those
All
that
right.
missed it, shout out to Waterloo Sparkling Water.
Yeah, they're
Shout out.
sponsoring our stream today.
They're not actually, but they should. Hit me up. Hit us up.
Mm.
All right, everybody hydrate. We got a hydration
Talk
check.
for a sec.
Important
Drink-
moment.
Drink more water. Okay, predictions. We're doing predictions, right? For the last 3 episodes. Miranda, do you
Start
have
with
them?
Miranda.
Okay. Mine's gonna be kind of vague.
It's okay.
I'm not sure what's going to go on with like Galadriel Adar, besides like let's team up against Sauron. Maybe that's what drives Sauron and Atar out of Eregion to then eventually come back to Eregion to try and reclaim the rings. But I think that obviously we've seen some trailery bits, but Adar and Anatar conflict. Celebrimbor not in a great spot. I do think Anatar is going to come and try to reclaim the rings, and we're going to see the sacking of Region. I think all of the big things with like Damrod, we're going to see like that kind of stuff. That's probably going to happen then. I do think Elrond's going to go try to recruit the dwarves. I think in Numenor, I wouldn't like I think we might see like up until like the breaking point of like the divide of the faithful and the Kingsmen, because we already know Pharazon's got power now. I don't think we're gonna see Numenor fall like Max was saying. Gosh. I hope we get a reveal of who the stranger is. I really hope that we get a stranger name drop. That would make me happy this season if we did. Especially because with Tom, he mentioned like, am I supposed to go fight Sauron? And it's just like, maybe.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not a warrior. Get out of here, dude.
Gosh, what other storylines are there?
There's the Pelargir story. There's the Isildur
yeah.
story. With the Astrid. That whole thing going on where it turns out she was a wildling or a wild man. I don't know what they call them. Servants of Adar.
Southlander.
They call them wild men or something.
Oh yeah, the wild men. Now that I'm talking about my predictions, I am realizing that I have no solid idea of what's actually going to go down. But
That's good.
I feel like that's a good thing. Yeah,
it's kind of more fun.
Yeah, no, I am kind of just like, because so much of it already had surprised me, because I was just like, oh, like Isildur has a crush on this girl now. Like, what's happening here? Like, it's all, a lot of it's been kind of new, and it makes it more enjoyable for me to watch. But gosh, that's my really not eloquent prediction.
I think it's a fair prediction. I think there's a lot of things of the major events going on. We want to see those like certain storylines finish up. We want to see this Grand Elf become Gandalf, and so forth. And like, I definitely want to know what happens with like, Adar. I'm really curious about the character Adar now, and I'm surprised because I know we have the switch in the actors. A lot of people say like they like the first one. I kind of like the second actor a little more. It just feels a little more.
I think they're both
appropriate.
Good.
I think they're both really good. I think they're both good.
Well, actually, this is something that I have no idea if it'll happen, but I think it could work as another emotional moment. Like, I think it's possible that they'll kill Adar. because somehow Sauron has to be like the main baddie. So like he can't just have someone fighting against him all the time. So I could see that being a thing of Adar sometime not being around anymore. But that's just a wild guess.
Okay,
Hi,
good.
Adar.
Bye. See you later.
What about you,
Maybe
Max?
or not. Okay. I think that in Khazad-dûm we're gonna see not it get destroyed by a Balrog. I think they started digging for Mithril, so we're gonna see him keep digging greedily and deeply. Balrog might get a little angry and upset and kind of rage around for a bit. But I don't know where that's gonna head. I hope, there's a point in the trailer when Durin's like fight for our friends. So I'm thinking that the dwarves are gonna come aid the forces that are trying to defend Oregion.
Mhm.
Um, in regards to that's what I think with the dwarves. In regards to the stranger, I don't think we're gonna see a name reveal yet. I think they're gonna keep on with the Stranger Things. Uh, maybe we will. I don't know. Um, the Rune storyline, I really enjoy it, but I'm not trying to predict where it's going because I personally am of the I hope it's not Gandalf, but it could be Gandalf and that's fine too, camp. And so I'm just gonna kind of enjoy that ride since that's kind of like all new and just kind of
It-
an unexplored section of the
Maybe it's
of
not
the
about the
lore.
wizards, but the wizards we met on the way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the journey's fun. And so I'm just enjoying Rune. So I really have no bold predictions there, other than I think it'll be interesting to see. And I want more Tom Bombadil. Um, and then with the Numenorians, I think we're going to continue to see them kind of fracture and split. I hope Elendil and Aarion kind of find some reconcile where he can be like, hey, by the way, your boyfriend stabbed Valandil in the back, so he
Your
sucks.
oldest friend. Yeah.
Yeah, and like she kind of you know, comes back to the not Farazan side of things. I'm hoping that Isildur finds a way to get a Uber back to Numenor at some point. I don't know what's going to happen in Pelargia. I think we'll see kind of Theo like take up like more of a responsible role of helping the people kind of defend against wildmen and maybe make it establish it as more of a proper settlement instead of like what seems to be more of like a refugee camp at this point, and kind of take up that role. And then when we get back to Eregion, I think that we'll see the Nine Forged, the fall of Eregion. Arondir's gonna save Galadriel after her and Adar talk, and she's like, "I'm not gonna help a bunch of orcs." Or,
This is weird.
or, or Adar's gonna try. All right, here's my two theories. One of them's really wild. I think that Adar is going to try to convince Galadriel to convince Sauron to like surrender and stop. Like he's going to use her as a emissary to him who is pretending to be an emissary to kind of I don't know what convince him to step down or something. Maybe I don't know what's going to happen there. And then I think wild theory, Adar and Sauron are secretly working together the whole time.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Uh,
I think I got a bit of
Probably not,
amalgamation
but
of the both your guys' theories. My big thing is with the Region. I think we're gonna see the nine in the next episode, and it's gonna be a little different. There might be a little wonky behavior going on. I don't know what to expect. I think they're going to streamline a lot of the events here, where Elrond's going to go and ask for help at Khazad-dûm first, and then the dwarves are going to show up there, and they're going to get cornered in some capacity, and that's going to be like the founding of Rivendell really quick.
mhm.
But I really do think the Numenorians are going to come through. If it's going to be like how it's supposed to be, where we're going to see Celebrate Banner and the fall of Eregion, I truly think that it's going to get overrun, and Isildur is going to be the one who returns to Middle Earth, and it's going to be like a big change for Eärien because she's going to realize her brother's alive. But then like there's going to be a huge rift there because he's going to find out what she did with Kemen, and then of course his loss of his friend Valandil, which is like the name of his youngest son, is Valandil, the next king of Arnor. Um, I also think that Estra is going to come with him to Numenor. I have a feeling that's going to happen, and she's going to like escape from this life and go with him, and that's going to be his wife or something, because that's something that has to occur too. But I think with the battle, we saw a couple things with Gil-galad's vision, where like somehow they're going to drain the river. So I think there's going to be a major thing that occurs there.
Yeah.
And they're going to attack and all that stuff. We're going to see everything play out. But I think the stranger is going to be Gandalf. I think Tom Bombadil is going to head out. I think the Dark Wizard is going to be fully defeated. There's going to be nothing more of him after this. Because I don't think they're going to jump down the Saruman pathway. There'd be a mistake on their part to do that, to your point.
Yeah.
But with Numenor, I don't think we've seen the last of Queen Miria. I think something's going to happen there that's going to shift it, because there's a possibility they might lean into the whole concept of them marrying. And though it's concerning,
Pharazôn.
Yeah, and it's not going to be
that
Farnazan
could
forcing himself. It's going to be Midio being like, well, in order to bring peace here between the faithful and the Kingsmen, I will marry Pharazôn, and that way we both rule. And it's going to be something like that.
That could be an interesting arc to kind of set up some real drama for season 3.
Especially because they're hinting at like an Elendil Muriel situation.
Yeah.
So then that would make Elendil sad.
Get
And he's like,
a
fine then,
little-
I'm going to Middle Earth.
Get a little Elendil, Pharazôn, Muriel love triangle going on. I don't know.
Yeah.
Get good ratings. Everyone loves
Yeah.
a love triangle.
I think we
Well, that's a
might
little
see
drama.
Elendil kind of bounce out to kind of establish more of a refuge of the faithful in Dunia or whatever.
Mm.
I think maybe that could be something that happens. I don't know.
I think we might get more Numenorians of Middle Earth. That's what I really want. Like
In this
'cause we need
season, you think?
Umbar.
So-
Not maybe at the end of the season or the start of next season. I feel like it's going to happen.
Okay. All right.
So, but you
all right.
think Isildur's going to go back to Numenor and then back to Middle Earth?
Like something along those lines. It's just either they're going to have the battle not end, then they're probably going to have the battle end. They need someone to come through and save their asses. Like it has to happen.
I think it's going to be the dwarves. That's my.
Might be the dwarves. I do think King Durin the Third is going to. This is the last season for him.
You think so?
I think he's going to fight the Balrog. And then like this whole thing's going to happen when the dwarves are gone helping in Eregion, where he fights the Balrog and no one knows what happens to him, right? And like then Durin the Fourth will become king. So I think something like that's going to happen.
That could be a good. That's a good dwarf take. I think.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
And then that way, like they close their doors to Eregion. The only thing that what about the doors of Durin? They still gotta drag that shit from Eregion too. This is my point why I still feel like there's a part of me that's like, oh, Eregion won't fall completely this season because they got so much shit they gotta do still. Like, what about these doors? Like,
I think the doors are done. I think they're gonna. I think we're just gonna see them.
So little focus on the doors. They were just like, oh, look at this door. Okay, bye.
But they had that
part
weird
kinda killed me.
line to Narvi too. Like Celebrimbor say he's still in gems. I was like, bro, what is up with you in these comments? Like, chill out. Also, the Barrow Downs, we didn't even talk about the Barrow Whites because it's such a like
true.
It's such a like a small thing because it's miniature Tir Gorthad. It's like miniature Barrow Downs.
Yeah.
I don't feel like talking about it right now. I'm not fully there yet. it's weirdly enough. I'm like it's over here now. Oh God, what was that?
Oh no, the Barrow Whites was like it happened real fast, and I was like, that was quick, but it was cool. They looked great, and
then the one black elf dies. I was like, yo, this is just too much right now. I'm like, I got a little like horror movie Tolkienism here, and I was just like, let's chill out. I'm gonna walk away from this, okay? Like that's my only thoughts.
It happened too fast.
The Barrow Whites, how they looked reminded me of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Like when the first movie, The Curse of the Black Pearl?
Like when they're skeleton guys, like that's what it reminded me of.
That's actually hilarious. I'll never get that out of my head now.
Sorry.
All right, man. I know it's getting a little late. We got Callie here, and she's probably tired. She's hosting this because we're not all so tech savvy. But before we go, I want to say thank you. I hope we get to do this again. Maybe we can do this again. Maybe towards the end of the season or after the finale. I don't know if you guys are down with that.
9:00, dude. I'm around at 9.
Yeah.
Just not on Sundays and Mondays. Great
That
night.
works with me. It's raid night.
And it's early for
Respect
me.
that.
It's only 8:43 p.m. for me, so
True.
anytime you
Very
guys want to
true.
chat and like go on tangents, but on live so people just watch us go on tangents, like I'm there, count me in.
Yeah, everyone should let us know. You want us to do this again? Well, absolutely. But I do want to give everyone an opportunity here. Miranda, what is going on right now? With just like what are you doing? What's your social media?
Oh.
Etc.
Um, I'm doing my thing like usual over on Instagram. Pretty much just Tolkien Tuesday as it's been going on. So every Tuesday, look for Tolkien Tuesday at X Librismer on Instagram. Next week I'm going to talk about the fall of Numenor,
Ooh, sneak peek.
which will potentially have some spoilers for Rings of Power because Numenor will fall. I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
And
Okay.
you can also see some of my videos get reposted on the Voices of Arda YouTube here. So all those videos that I'm posting on Instagram will also be found here as part of the Voices of Arda community.
Absolutely. Max, what's going on with you? Where can we all find you?
Oh man, I'm just chilling,
Hell yeah, bro.
sipping on Waterloo. Instagram and TikTok, airplane facts with Max. It's just fixing airplanes. I got nothing going on right now, man. Just chilling.
Very true. Very true. You're also, I guess here, you're also joining our Voices of Art community.
Yeah, I'll be sending
which is
some stuff
awesome.
over and stuff.
Hell
And
yes.
yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just chilling, doing the same thing as always.
Really? I know you've been playing a lot of music too.
Oh yeah. I do that. Yeah, I got songs out on Spotify and stuff. Under Max Comer. There's a link on the bio on my Instagram. You can find them there, or whatever service you stream music on, if you want to check it out.
Pretty good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is.
Thank you. I did finish a new song. Well, I haven't finished it yet, but it's getting mixed, so that'll be coming out sometime whenever it's done. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just chilling.
Very
Same old.
nice.
I don't have like a schedule of how I do stuff. I just kind of post stuff when I post stuff.
Yeah, I kind of just I've been like I used to be a little more prescriptive on my posting, but you can find me Belmont on Voice of Arda. I'll be doing live reactions tomorrow with Podwan's podcast. Really fun time. If you guys ever want to join, you hit me up. Let me know. We have a few more weeks. That goes to you too as well. But it's been really fun. We actually do a conversation thing on Fridays too, where we'll talk about the episode with some of the Pod One members. So you can check that out here at the Voice of Arda channel tomorrow at 7:30, and usually around the same time on Fridays. Other than that, you can just find me on Instagram and TikTok, just shooting the shit and talking about lore like I always do. So, or doing funny trivia with Bart of Arda, who is the man. But
I like the 20 questions you guys have been doing have been great.
Yeah, who knew? Malbeth the seer. Tim thought it was a woman this whole time.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I kind of like that.
What a twist.
A little bit of a twist.
Also, we got a comment in the chat that we are hilarious and insightful and that we should do this again. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm down, dude. I just 9 o'clock Central.
9 o'clock, man. That's
9
good
o'clock
with me.
Central.
That time works perfect.
I'm around. I do have to be up for work at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, but
time. Who needs it?
By 6 a.m. I'll be like 7 cups of coffee deep and seeing smells, so it'll be fine.
Well,
it's working.
I really appreciate you guys joining me to do this. This is something I just have a lot of fun doing, like postulating about this show, talking about these high points, talking about a couple low points, but just I love your guys' insight. You're so knowledgeable about these texts, even though Max will claim he's never read the books. We know he has, but
I'm the least knowledgeable person on the channel, dude. I swear.
Yeah. That's what they all say. Yeah. We'll all just point at each other and say, "No, you,
no, you."
Yeah, that's how.
So we're gonna cut this now. But I really appreciate everyone checking this out. Thanks for tuning in to the Voice of Arda and the Rangers of the Trivilien Takeover. Like we said, maybe we'll do this again. Maybe we'll do this towards the end of the season. Maybe we'll figure out another way of doing this in another medium on another device. Who knows? But have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much. And yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Pete. You're the
Thank
best.
you. Thanks, Pete. You are the best.
Thanks, Max, for Reddit. You're the best. See what's
No.
gonna
No,
happen?
you.
It's the Spider-Man meme with all three of us.
It's just us pointing at each other.
I'm gonna